Okay, hi, it's Dr. Buford. We're just getting started on your left shoulder here. We're looking in from the back to the front. Everything that you see is magnified 30 or 40 times on the screen. We've got this blue cannula. It's called a dry dock. That's coming in the front of the shoulder. Just to the right of that is the long head of the biceps tendon. We can tug on that and look as it exits the shoulder. And the tendon itself looks fine. That little rope-like structure looks good. It's the tendon anchor that we're concerned about. As we rotate and look down at it, we can see some fraying. We can see that it looks quite loose, and you had some symptoms in the office that were consistent with this being a source of pain. So as a result, we're going to do a biceps tenodesis. We'll take a spinal needle, and then we'll take a grasper and a free suture, and we'll show you how we do this tenodesis. Hold the camera there, please. Two hands. Pause. Okay, so here's our first pass right through the middle of the biceps. We'll go ahead and push the needle down a little bit. We're going to pass a black wire called a super shuttle. Careful here. Hold the scope, two hands. We're going to pass this super shuttle through the wire, through the needle. So if you just watch right there, you'll see that come down and through. There it is right there. We're going to grab the wire. We always grab the wire and then back the needle out so we don't damage the wire. And now outside your shoulder, we're going to load that with a suture. This is a very strong suture. It's called Hi-Fi. And now we'll pull back on the wire. Yep, give me a good picture. And now we're going to do the same thing one more time with our spinal needle. Pause. Okay, so if you look here, you can see we've got the suture going around and through the biceps. Now we're going to release the biceps from its anchor inside the shoulder here. So if this is all we were doing, this would be called a biceps tenotomy. But because we're reattaching it later, this becomes a biceps tenodesis. Almost done. Okay, so now the biceps is out of the way. Got it. You can see it's at the top of the screen, just the cut edge of it. And now we're going to use our shaver to smooth out the rest of the labrum. We don't really have to reattach the labrum here because now that the biceps is removed, there's nothing else that'll make this labrum unstable. We just have to make sure there's no rough edges left behind. Okay, so now we're looking down the front of the shoulder. Just want to take one more survey. And the front of the shoulder looks pretty good. That tendon running up towards about 1 o'clock on the screen. Give me a crochet hook, please. That is the subscapularis tendon right here. And then crossing it right here, that's the middle glenohumeral ligament. And then a little bit farther down, if we could see that, would be the inferior glenohumeral ligament, at least the anterior band of it. We can see a little bit of arthritis, some wear and tear changes in the cartilage, not too bad. And then this is the posterior shoulder, also not too bad. So now we get back up to the rotator cuff tear, which is this stuff right here. This is all torn. You see, this is all torn rotator cuff. All this stuff right here is torn tendon. So we're going to use our shaver because right now we have a pretty good shot of the articular side of the tendon. So we'll start with our shaver right here, take care of these torn edges. And it'll also make it easier to find in just a minute when we change positions with your shoulder. So now we're getting a better idea of where that gap in the tendon is, where the hole is here. We'll show you some more in a little bit. Okay, so we're in the subacromial space. I don't see any surprises. We've been able to identify the acromion, which is at the top of the screen. That instrument you see just removes some of the soft tissue from the undersurface of the acromion so we can get to the bone. We typically take off a little bit of bone in the front just to make sure there's nothing that's going to rub on the rotator cuff tendon when we're done. We don't want anything acting like a piece of sandpaper up there. So this is the bone right here, top of the screen. Your collarbone, your clavicle, that's your clavicle right there. So this is the AC joint. And we look at that just to make sure there's no spurs there either. And so that's the edge of your clavicle. You can see it's moving separately, and sometimes there's a spur underneath here. And if there's a spur underneath here, we also don't want to leave it, because you can imagine if there's a spur where my instrument is, it would just rub on the tendon right here. So we always take a little bit of that too. It's called a coplaning. And if there's not a reason to take the whole clavicle, a lot of times we'll just do the coplaning. Okay, so next we'll take our burr, and we'll show you some more in a minute. Okay, so this is the acromion. You can see we use this burr to try and smooth it out. And so now there's the undersurface of the acromion. The clavicle is back over here, and I'm not going to do a complete claviculectomy, but we're going to take off a little bit of the undersurface. This is the coplaning part. All right, so that's really all we have to do there. So now we're ready to get to work. Shaver back on there. On the rotator cuff, here's the tear. Right here. You can see it's almost shaped like a skinny N or an upside down V. And it's pretty thin right here. So what I like to do here is to place a ripstop, what we call a ripstop stitch. Some people call it a margin convergence suture, straight crescent and a grasper. And the reason it's called a margin convergence suture is because we're going to bring the two margins of this tear together, and you'll see how much that helps. So you're going to have to hold this upside down just like that. Yeah. Okay, and so now we'll take a grasper. And we can do this either in one bite or two, but here's the grasper. To the right of the screen is posterior, so to the right would be the infraspinatus part of the tear. We can see here's kind of the apex of the tear right here, so our margin convergence stitch is going to start back about here. It looks like I can do this in one bite. Sometimes it's two. Okay, and follow me to the... This is hard because you're upside down. Okay, that's great. Okay, and so there's the tip. We're going to go ahead and feed the relay through, and then we'll show you some more in a minute. But that just gives you an idea of what a margin let me take that. What a margin convergence suture looks like. Okay, so we've tied the first margin convergence suture. You can see it right here, and you can see how that functions as a ripstop. And look how much it really brings that tear together. That looks great. I'm happy with that. So I'm so happy with it, I'm going to do another one. Hold that right there. We're going to get our little grasper to help stabilize the tear. Go to the right on the screen a little bit. Yeah. Okay, come to the left now. Okay. Push down a little bit. Okay, we'll get this done, show you some more in a minute. Pause. Okay, so we've got our second side to side, and I'm really happy with the way that's coming together. There's the first one, that black and white striped one. The second one's kind of a solid blue. And remember how I said it was kind of a skinny N or an upside down V, and now that's really pretty much eliminated. We're all the way out to the articular margin here. If I lift up on the cut edge of the tendon, we might still be able to see a little bit of cartilage just way back there starting to go into the joint. But we're all the way out here. So that means that without any tension, which is important, we can now place an anchor here. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to place a suture anchor right about here. We'll go ahead and take a scalpel. Go ahead and pull that relay, the spinal. And then we'll slide down. this type of anchor we're using was one of the big innovations in shoulder surgery because it's made out of suture, and yet it's just as strong as the old metal anchors used to be. And so there's the guide. We'll put the guide right about here. We'll go ahead and pull that and place my anchor down. Pull it and place the anchor in there. So the anchor goes right down the middle of that tube, and then we're going to tap it down. Hold the camera. Okay, so we're just getting our best picture of the repair here. And you can see here, we're going to cut those suture tails a little bit, but you can see here what we've done. The hole is completely eliminated. I'll need a grasper and the arthroscopic scissors. And our ripstop sutures are right here. We've got a stitch that is medial to the ripstop. That's this blue and white stitch. I'm happy with what that did. That's holding everything together nicely. And then our anterior suture is actually this black and white striped one there. Now the biceps sutures are over here a little bit more anterior. They're going to be just to the right of that blue cannula. There's one of them. And so we're going to go ahead and retrieve those now, and then we'll decide what to do. Okay, I just want to share, we're going to be placing the biceps tendon sutures through an anchor called a pop lock. That's the punch for it. It gets a little bit hard to see after you do it, so I wanted to show you now. The repair is over here. But we're about to go ahead and place those sutures down right next to where the biceps run. So it's going to stay in the groove. We'll go ahead and get that done and show you in a minute. Okay, so the biceps tenodesis sutures right there going down to an anchor. That's very solid. Repair looks good. I do want to shorten a stitch, so we'll get that done and then we're going to finish up. Good luck to you now, okay? Bye-bye.